This is a frame-by-frame analysis of the Deliver trailer. From the get-go, we know that this is not a trailer for version 3.5. It is called the Deliver trailer Trailblazer. Just as we got the nameless faces before Amphorius was released, telling us of what would happen in the first half of Amphorius' arc, now we got this trailer telling us of what would happen in the second half. Kashlana has passed on the mantle of Deliver to Trailblazer, so it is now up to Trailblazer to fulfill the prophecy of Deliverance. We see Mighty in Custom Kremnos, Castris in Sixia, and Hyacinth in the sky. The three of them seem to be shackled by some kind of ring of code. We can see it around Mighty's wrist, around Castris' head, and Hyacinth's ankle. Then we see March, a gigantic March at that, holding Amphorius between her fingers before swallowing it. This March looks very different from the March that we know. She has long hair, dark outfit, red eyes, sinister vibe, and all that good stuff. Her drip marketing says that she calls herself Evernight in this form. It is interesting that she is shown eating Amphorius here, although we cannot take this as her literally eating Amphorius because we also saw Giant Mighty, Castris, and Hyacinth in their respective domains in between these shots. Instead, it could be a hint of her role in Amphorius. Amphorius is protected with the barrier of space and time. While space was not something that Herda could not break through, time was a different matter altogether. Since Evernight will take care of Time Core Flame, this could be a reference to that. Anyhow, she looks really cool and unhinged, and I love me some unhinged pink-haired girlies, so naturally, I cannot wait to pull for her. If you feel the same way, LD Shop might help you save up on your pulls for Evernight. LD Shop is a top-up service where you can make in-game purchases at a discount. You can get a supply pass, honorific shards, and even guarantee bundles so that you know you will have enough tickets to get a copy of your favorite character. The top-up process is super simple. To make a purchase, all you need to provide is your game server and your ID. Then your top-up will be sent to you within minutes. LD Shop has been used by thousands of people, and you only need to look at the reviews to see how safe and reliable the service is. Also, if you still have the double top-up bonus after the anniversary reset, it also works with purchases via LD Shop, so why not top up there and get your bonus for cheaper? Better still, after spending over $80 in a month, you can claim a free supply pass. That's an extra 30 pull save up right there. So if you're a spending player and planning to pull for Evernight or the other upcoming characters, you can use my link in the description below to make your first purchase to get 15% and 5% off coupons and save up to $50. Thank you LD Shop for sponsoring this video. Now, where were we? Right, Evernight gobbles up Amphorius. Nom nom nom, delicious simulated planet. And then we see the opening card. The Nameless has entered the equation. Iron Tomb is watching them from behind, and we can see the yellow destruction ring here. This is the same ring that we've seen many versions of from Fables About the Stars Part 2 video, signifying that yes, this world is rapidly falling onto the path of destruction. What's also interesting here are those pink and blue threads of light on the right side of the screen. On the left, it is yellow because of destruction. Is it pink and blue on the right to represent remembrance? Then we see Aglaia bound by her golden threads. While the Grammar Makers bow to her in the Nameless faces, here they all point their swords at her. The pink and blue thread is also here, barely visible, but if you squint, it is there, replacing the ring of code that seems to have disappeared. Interesting how this happens after Evernight swallows Amphorius. Next we see Trebios. Trinon has fallen, soon to be followed by Trian, judging by her burning wings. Again, the pink and blue thread of light is here. It is also there around Anaxa, around Cypher and Zagreus, and around Phynon. Phynon and the Flame River, two sides of the same coin. No longer was it a vague foreshadowing like in the Nameless faces, now we see them back to back. Phynon, the unblemished version of Kashlana of A New Reset, with the Flame River, the broken version of Kashlana who bears the memories of the millions of resets before. They merge, and we finally see Kashlana in his true form as he burns away, absorbed by Iron Tomb. And then we see Lygus, looking uglier than the last time we saw him. Please put the mask back on, thank you very much. He has also grown a third eye. That, or this is yet another version of him hidden behind the mask. Then we see Trailblazer offering up the core flame of world bearing to the vortex of Genesis. This is interesting as this is what Kashlana had been trying to avoid. It seems like they have figured out a way to alter the ending, so now returning the core flames will not complete Iron Tomb's evolution, but instead something else will happen. Perhaps it will trigger the true miracle of Genesis. We'll just have to wait and see. Lygus is finally using his extra pair of hands. I almost thought it was for decoration only. High Silence is there with Trailblazer, and we can see the Astral Zodiac fully lit up. All the core flames have been returned, which according to Lygus should unleash Iron Tomb. To me, this is a stronger indication that the Crisis heirs have figured out a way to alter the outcome. They've returned all the 12 core flames, and instead of the destruction, they are now facing the admin of the simulation. This is all according to Seridra's plan. She moves her next piece and High-Silence does the bidding for her, dodging Lygus' attack left and right before striking back. Interestingly, Lygus' attack also has that Black Tide corruption effect. I wonder if he has absorbed the destruction equation for himself, becoming the avatar of Iron Tomb. Dan Heng is also there with us. While he was supposed to have left the simulation as agreed with Trailblazer, it seemed like Dan Heng had stayed back instead. He has taken up the role of Earth Demigod, transforming into Permanent Sorcerer with his permanence power. Then we see a jellyfish and a close-up reveal of Evernight. Then we see more jellyfish, red in color this time instead of purple. Behind her, we can see something that looks like a core. And then we see the Crisis heirs powered up. 10 Crisis heirs are there: Mighty, Phrynon, Cypher, Castoris, Anaxa, Aglaya, Hyacinth, Tribi, Seridra, and High-Silence. Evernight and Dan Heng, who are supposed to take up time and earth, are not there, nor is Cyrene, the original time demigod. Interestingly, instead of 10, there are 11 core flames gathered in the circle, 10 for each present heir, and an extra core flame that bears the symbol of a titan we've never seen before. Well, we have, sort of. The symbol looks like an infinity symbol. We saw it briefly in the cutscene when Janus imparted the prophecy to Tribios. We also saw it the first time we opened the SF written book. It is the symbol at the center of the Titan Will from the Amphorius and its Mysterious Titans article. It is also there on the floor right where we can have an audience with Ornyx. In fact, this is what Amphorius looks like seeing it from a 2D perspective. At least what we thought the planet looked like when the first trailer was released. The hidden 13th Titan theory, popularized by the chaotic Numerophiles faction, seems to be real. See, this faction proposed that there is an unknowable 13th Titan behind the 12 Titans known to the people of Amphorius. They call it the one true god who grants the world chaos from which order emerges. While this could be written off as the scepter itself, since Amphorius is a scepter's extrapolation, this could also be referring to the Titan who bears this infinity symbol. The one true god whose symbol is the center of all the other 12 Titans. We also see what looks like a core next to this Crisis heir power-up location. It looks similar to the one behind Evernight, but different in color. Around the core are the symbols of the 12 Titans, while at the center of it is the infinity symbol, the symbol of the 13th Titan, just like the Titan Will from the article. This scene is conveniently followed up by Cyrene walking up the stairs in a place that is reminiscent of Elysium Everlasting in Honkai Impact. She winks at us, definitely having something up her sleeves. I mean, if Cyrene is not meant to die in the next ER, we will have 13 Crisis heirs instead of 12. The 13th Titan that is behind all 12? Is that you, Cyrene, the original time demigod who was gazed by the Eon of Remembrance because of your sacrifice for Amphorius? That wink tells me exactly what I need to know. Seridra will die in this ER. We see her holding and aiming High-Silence's sword at her throat, and in the most recent manuscript of Aranova, somebody said that High-Silence was caught murdering her. Judging by this scene and by how much Seridra has emphasized that High-Silence is her sword and hers alone, she wants High-Silence to kill her, either literally killing her or making it seem like she's killed her. I mean, if anyone is to obey each and every single one of her commands, it would be High-Silence. This could have been the case in the last ER too. The history of the Flamechase journey noted that one day, Seridra simply disappeared from the public's eye. She left everything in Aglaya's hand and disappeared. Soon after, High-Silence also disappeared. Aglaya said it was her foolishness that had caused whatever end that befell High-Silence. Maybe Seridra also orchestrated her death in that ER, and Aglaya, who might have known the truth, let High-Silence be judged and sentenced for it. This too, perhaps, is part of Seridra's plan. She is known as a chess player who never hesitates to use her king piece, believing that if she, as a king, is not willing to lead by example, why would her people follow her? The March that we know is frozen inside a crystal-like cage, disintegrating before a flash of red envelops her, jellyfish surrounding her. This could be the moment of March's transformation to Evernight. Also, do you remember what March said about her experience of Enna's dream?
Well, I was dragged into the sweet dream. I felt a cold tentacle diving into my memories, but something else was there. So the tentacle suddenly disappeared.
A tentacle, she said, which might belong to a jellyfish. The jellyfish tried to touch her memories but immediately went back into hiding when Anna's dream got a grip on March, which then sent her into a poorly written sweet dream that didn't even live up to the life that March desired. Then we see Dan Heng in his new form. He's waiting somewhere and it seems like he's been waiting for a while there, judging from the changing of day and night and the continuous growth of weight up his spear. If Dan Heng really had never left, really had stayed in the simulation when the reset happened, he might have been assimilated into the simulation and respawned as Earth Crisis Heir at the beginning of this cycle. As we've learned throughout the quest, Earth Core Flame was one of the first core flames reclaimed by the Crisis Heirs, as early as 100 years after Trebios became a demigod. If Trailblazer is respawned to an era after that, which was when the original Kaslana was born, that means Dan Heng must have been waiting for Trailblazer for a while, a very long while. In place of Mem that usually shows up when Trailblazer does their skill, Cyrene does. The Cyrene is different than the one we've met before. This is an adult version of her. Where they are seem to be the same place Cyrene was earlier. Maybe her walking up the stairs earlier is her revealing this secret to Trailblazer. Cyrene is wearing a diamond ring in this scene, which I think is meant to be pretty important because when it catches light, it transitions to a puzzle piece that Trailblazer catches in their hand. You know what that means, right? It means Cyrene is married to me. I'm kidding. Unless it means Cyrene is the last puzzle piece needed to solve this endless cycle. Perhaps the Crisis Heir power-up ritual earlier is a ritual to bring about this adult version of Cyrene into the picture, to bring that one true god, and it is with her help can we defeat the Iron Tomb. Then we see a passage of Trailblazer's journey so far. The beginning of the journey started with their original nameless companions, March, Dan Heng, Himeko, and Welt. Together they walk through Iris Elysiae because the Deliverer's journey in Amphorius begins with their departure from this place. Then Black Swan and Sunday joined the Express crew in Penacony, and Amphorius reminded Trailblazer that before the Express crew, there were the Stellaron Hunters. Onwards to Amphorius, they met the Crisis Heirs, witnessed their hardship and death, until eventually they learned the truth of the world and were left the role of the Deliverer by Kaslana. Kaslana simply stood there, not joining Trailblazer for the rest of the journey because it is no longer his journey to complete. The cycle resets once again, and Dan Heng and March join them in this new ER, shouldering the roles of the Crisis Heirs alongside Trailblazer, assisted by Herda and Skrulum. They will bring Cerdra and Hysilence to their side, joining their forces to bring down the Iron Tomb. Throughout this journey, what is constant is Cyrene next to Trailblazer, because she's been there right from the start of their journey in Amphorius in the form of Mem. Together, they charge forward. The Ring of Destruction in the distance is their goal. That is what they're trying to destroy. In a sense, that ring could be a representation of the Scepter's core, the very thing that Kaslana had been attempting to destroy throughout the reset. Sadly, he was just one person. Now Trailblazer, with the combined effort and support of their companions, will attempt to destroy the core one last time. The world-bearing symbol flashes behind Trailblazer as a reminder that it is them now that bears the core flame. This attack finally triggers Iron Tomb to show its true form. Interestingly, it shows up with 7 stars in front of them, a symbolism of Lord Ravagers, perhaps? It is one of them after all, and there are 7 of them. Then Iron Tomb starts attacking the Crisis Heirs. They counter the attack while Trailblazer continues to charge forward, only to be blasted by the Iron Tomb ultimate. This almost sweeps them away, but Cyrene in her new form grabs their hand and gives them the extra push to continue forward. And can I just take a break and say how beautiful Cyrene looks here? I mean, I've seen this trailer too many times to count, but I still gasp when she shows up at this exact moment. She's so beautiful, it's almost criminal. Here that diamond ring is shining again as Cyrene is giving the needed boost to Trailblazer. And there she is, Cyrene in the full view of her new form. To be honest with you, I cannot not call her Elysia at this point. Cyrene has been hinted at to not be Cyrene's real name. She is Cyrene simply because that is what she is named in the simulation. That girl named Cyrene. This has also been hinted at in the 3.0 secret ending. See, as the credit rolls, the characters who have shown up in Amphorius up to that point of the story are listed here. Dan Heng as Dan Heng, Finon as ? because his real name is Kaslana, Trebios as Tribi, Trinan, Trian, and so on, because there were once 1,000 fragments of Trebios. Then there's Castris, Maidi, Nikador, and Aglaya. We can match the names 1-to-1 with the characters we've met except for Mem. which means the question mark as question mark refers to Mem. The first question mark refers to Cyrene, Mem's real name, which she could not remember in the beginning. But if Cyrene is her real name, why is she playing as question mark like Phynon, whose real name turns out to be not Phynon? It means Cyrene is not her real name. That real name can only be Elysia. She is a variant of her after all, just as Phynon is of Kevin Kaslana, just as Akron is of Raiden May. But until it is confirmed, I will try to stick with Cyrene. Here we have Cyrene with a 6-pointed star in front of her. The pink threads around her that connects to the star in the middle looks a bit like Amphoria's sin from the outside, which then makes it look like the infinity symbol that represents the 13th Titan. Cyrene powered up turns her into the 13th Titan. She was granted power directly by Fuli after sacrificing herself, thus becoming an emanator of remembrance, more likely than not, I believe. With her blessing, Trailblazer charges forward to fight Iron Tomb head-on, reaching its core only to find a twisted version of Kaslana inside. Yeah, I mean, since Kaslana has been absorbed by the simulation, what nastier way to make us cry than to make us fight Kaslana himself? Twisted as he is, his mind fully controlled by the Iron Tomb. Totally a heartwarming story no one has ever seen before. This shot of Trailblazer and Iron Tomb / Kaslana about to exchange punches reminds me of the tale of the Lord of Trashcan in Penacony. Just as how Remembrance Trailblazer's power is similar to Misha's, I wonder if the writers took parts of what was supposed to be in Penacony then expanded on for Amphorius. What follows is what looks like Phynon's animation in his Kaslana's form, the Ring of Destruction at the center of it, symbolizing the destruction that will happen if Iron Tomb breaks free. And it ends with the two queens who joined their forces to end the Krasus War 1000 years in the past. Version 3.5 is coming up real soon, and I am so hyped for what's to come, especially to learn more about Sarydra's plan, March's backstory, and Cyrene's transformation. Which part are you most looking forward to? If you enjoy this breakdown analysis, you might want to check my analysis on March and Danheng drip marketing here. If the videos are not there yet, it means I'm still working on it. So come back later and I will see you then. Bye!